With another video. I don't know if I'll have time to make it a two-part. We'll see if there's time at the end. Today I want to talk about weight loss and fat loss. I mean, people often use the terms interchangeably, but they really are not the same thing. Understanding the difference will help you on your journey to better health, okay? And usually it's women that do this. I'm sorry to say that, and I can get away with saying that because I'm a woman, right? So what's the difference? Well, weight loss is a drop in your overall poundage, right? Or, kilograms, which includes weight from muscle, water, and fat, okay? Whereas fat loss is really, on the other hand, fat loss. It's just from fat. We're not talking water or muscle. So this is a much more healthy goal or healthful goal than this one. So you can't really rely on the scales. And in the context of reaching a weight goal, most people are typically wanting to get rid of body fat, right? So the problem is that fat loss is not always reflected in the lower number on the scale, okay? So some of the tactics when we use to try and get rid of fat really backfire on us. And one of them is starvation. People think that, well, if I eat a lot, I get fat. So maybe if I don't eat a lot, I'm going to look great, right? But starving yourself for weight loss or for fat loss just doesn't work. Your body fat is certainly a stored energy, but if you want to lose body fat, you need to make your body have a reason to lose it. Very simple thing. So let's back up a bit and talk about body composition. Our bodies are made up of a few major components. So there's fat, there's lean body weight, or sometimes we call it fat-free mass, which includes not just muscle, but also bone, water, organs, all that kind of stuff. So having too much fat in proportion to lean muscle tissue contributes to obesity, and you can risk all sorts of chronic health issues as a result, and I'm sure you know that. So most of the time when we talk about wanting to lose weight, as I said, we're really talking about wanting to lose fat. So this is not only because excess fat is potentially dangerous, but also because you don't want to really lose lean muscle tissue or from your bone, your organs, whatever, okay? So muscle tissue will give you strength, and it actually helps you burn more calories. It promotes a kind of a healthy body function, okay? You need muscles in order to move, right? And for reasons that don't really need to be spelled out, you don't want to be losing tissue from your bones or your organs, all right? That seems obvious. So if you go on, people go on body cleanses, they go on these quick fix stupid diets, and they lose mega pounds, right? Mega amounts of weight really fast. And so if you're losing 10 pounds or more a week, you may be sure that it is from muscle, water, and fat. It isn't just going to be fat. The result might be that the scale reads lower, and your pants, your dresses, whatever, may fit more loosely, but it's all temporary. Okay, you can't be on a deprivation diet forever. You just can't maintain it. So as soon as you start to eat regularly again, well, you just gain it again, right? It's called yo-yoing through weight differences. So the bottom line is skip all those stupid soup fasts and weird limited eating diets to transform your body, because you know what? It's not sustainable. it's not going to work, okay? So how can you lose fat without losing muscle, right? So, and I said here, when you lose muscle, this is all combined, right? Muscle is 70% water. So when you start to lose a lot of muscle, you're losing a lot of water as well, okay? Okay. So complex. Let's see, what do I want to talk about next? So, full disclosure. Let's just admit it. You can't lose fat from a specific part of your body. Okay, maybe you've got saggy arms or you have a belly. You cannot direct your body to lose fat from that area. It makes all those decisions. It's a biochemical unit. It works as one. It decides where it's going to store fat, when it's going to release the fat, and from where it's going to release the fat. So you can't determine that. But there are plenty of things that you can do to shift the balance toward fat loss, and not so much lean body tissue loss. You probably know the tried and true methods, but you have to cut your calories a little bit, not too much, because you don't want to put your body into a panic, right? You don't want to get into this starvation mode where your body thinks, oh my God, I better retain fat because I'm not getting enough calories, right? And fat is storage of energy. So if you drastically cut your calories using some sort of stupid crash dieting, it just isn't going to work, right? So what I would say is, eat healthy, eat all three macronutrients, and you could eat 5 or 6 meals a day. That, in my mind, is going to, people argue against this, but when I lost my 40 pounds, I was eating 5 or 6 meals a day. Small meals. I had protein at every meal. I mean, protein will help you maintain your muscle mass, and if you're working out, it's going to help build more mass. And but you need all three macronutrients, okay? The other thing is you want to move your body. You want to exercise. You want to give it a reason for losing the fat, as I said earlier. But you have to give yourself a break. I mean, you can't exercise like crazy every day, because your body is going to get into a different type of panic and it may start to lose lean muscle tissue, okay? So that's counter to what you want to do. So if you want to optimize your fat loss, you have to have a better nutrient-dense diet. And as I said, you can have a calorie deficit, maybe 200-300 calories a day. But I don't want you to drop down below your basal metabolic rate. You can't be eating 800 calories or less a day. That's called starvation, according to your body. So you need a better diet, a nutrient-dense diet, not a calorie-dense diet, with junk food and fried foods and all that. And you need to exercise. You can't do it with just eating. You can't do it with just exercise. It's a combination. Now me, for example, you'd probably be surprised to know that I easily eat, a couple of thousand calories a day. I'm not fat. I'm lean. But I eat a lot of protein, and as I say, I eat a lot of meals, and because I exercise vigorously for 1 hour every day for 5 days a week, I can burn a lot more calories, okay? I can keep my metabolism up. So I can eat a lot more calories than you, but I can still be in a calorie deficit. If I choose to lose fat, I can still be in a calorie deficit, but still eat more calories than you, okay? Okay, I guess in summary, I would say that calorie restriction with no exercise and not enough protein is going to give you muscle tissue loss. Your basal metabolic rate is going to fall, and your metabolism is what determines how much calorie burning ability you have. That's going to fall. Your insulin sensitivity is going to fall. And if you don't eat any carbs, I have to tell you, carbs have 3 times the amount of water as either fats or protein. So when you don't eat carbs, your body's water content will fall. You're going to lose weight. And the other side of the coin is if you build up muscle, you build up mitochondria, and mitochondria are going to allow you to have a lot more fat releasing for energy release. Now, if I was to compare these two, you know, fat loss is the ultimate goal for health, okay? So you want to have a lower body fat percentage. You want a higher lean tissue percentage. So what you're playing with is a change in your body tissue's composition, okay? So if I look at, if I compare myself, let's say I'm 140 pounds, 5'3", and I'm very lean, but of course I still have fat, right? And a pound of muscle is the same as a pound of fat, right? But fat is much more bulky, but I have a lot of muscle. Then I go to my friend over here who's the same height, 5'3", female, same sex, and she weighs 140 pounds, but she has done starvation, you know, whatever. So she doesn't have a lot of lean muscle. She has a lot of bulky fat. So although we weigh the same, we look completely different. I have done a fat loss program. She has done a weight loss program. I am more healthy and she is obese. We look completely different. So this kind of thing I've covered in my book, Are You Fat Making or Calorie Burning? And anyway, I'll put the information about it at the end of the video. If I was to talk on the second part here, I don't know if I have enough time. You could just close me off and scroll down to the next person if you want. If I was going to talk about one of my motorcycle stories, and boy, I'm hardly making a video lately because the weather is so great here. I've been out on the bike, right? If I was to think of a kind of a weird story, I'm going to think about the northwest of California. My husband and I were over on our bikes over doing the West Coast, right, a few years ago. And I don't know, it was a hot day. And when you come down Highway 1, occasionally you have to kind of scoop around a reservation, right? And it was 101, and it came into northern California. If I remember right, I think it was Leggett was the, or Leggett, I don't know how you pronounce it, the little town, okay? And anybody that's on a bike on the east side, they're always like, oh, I got to go to Tennessee. I got to go on Tail of the Dragon, you know, 311 curves in, you know, 11 miles or whatever it is. Let me tell you, the road that I went on near Leggett was much more technically demanding, okay? So we started up, and the first thing it said is 18% gradient. And I have to tell you, if you're on a motorcycle, 18% gradient is, you know, it's pretty steep, right? Because we were going back to the coast. Okay, and the next thing it said is 180-degree turns. Oh, okay. And there was no side to the road. And it was so steep, like 180-degree turn. I'm on a fully loaded bike, 800-pound Harley. I got 100 pounds on the back. I'm riding up this steep incline, and it was so steep that on the turns, any cars that had trailer hitches were bottoming out. So there were these grooves in the road, right? They didn't allow trucks on the road, of course. Anyway, I have to say, you know, I look pretty badass on the bike, right? Inside the helmet, I'm like, I was terrified, just crying, right? And we didn't have bike-to-bike communication. So I'm thinking, Dave, please pull over. I have to stop. There was no place to pull over, no side to the road. Anyway, we're climbing up this road, 180, 18 degrees gradient. And they said you could only go 10 miles an hour, which isn't very fast. And when you're on a motorcycle, you know, you can't counter steer when you're only going 10 miles an hour. It's really tough to turn. Anyway, we got up, we were up pretty high, and then there was a bit of a pullover. So Dave pulled over, I pulled over. Oh, thank God. I want to go back, right? And then, so we decided we were going to turn the bikes back, and up comes this woman. She's on a pedal bike. I'm thinking, fuck, she's on a pedal bike. How does anybody do that? So I said, oh, excuse me, how far to the top? She said, oh, just let me get my map out. So she opens up the map, and it's one of these topo maps, right? And I mean, you want to talk about somebody built. Woo! She looked fantastic. She had quads to die for, right? Anyway, she said, well, you're almost there. You only got about 2-3 miles to go, and then you're going down. I thought, oh, yes. So we continued on and went down to the coast. And I don't mind on a loaded bike going down. I don't like going up. Some people are reversed, but whew, I could dry my tears, and away we went. Anyway, see you in the next video. Bye for now. See if I can get this thing working. No.